Kinloch Farm is a family farm. It was founded in the 1960s by the Currier family. It encompasses 3,000 acres of protected farmland.
So it's fitting that I'm sitting where I'm sitting, which is above the Kinloch Little Lake. Kinloch means family and loch means lake. So I see this lake as the sort of seat and core of this farm. When my parents were running this farm, it was a pretty conventional operation. When my siblings and I took over the property in 1967, we wanted to pursue a more natural kind of farming with humane considerations in terms of our herd. Our farmer discovered the legacy of a farmer in Maryland, his herd's genetic legacy, and we began a pretty scientific and intentional breeding program. We were excited about that because basically this Angus Aberdeen herd was very suited to grass feeding and not being finished off with grain.
We raise and direct market 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef. It's important to us because that incorporates the entire lifespan of the animal. They're raised completely on grass and they're finished on grass only. And I think the flavor and quality of a grass-fed, grass-finished product is exceptional. To me, regenerative agriculture is a term that describes systems being completed across a landscape. So it incorporates animal, human, ecological. I think it's about putting a system back into balance. As producers, it's time that we're in a position now that we have to begin to connect cattle production and conservation. We can't afford to keep those two separate. We have to be able to look to see how cattle can improve our ecosystems as we adaptively graze them through the farm. How can we improve grassland bird habitat? How can we improve habitat for small mammals, amphibians? How can we improve water retention, forage species diversity, soil health, water quality? All of those things have to be a component of our management. We can't continue to silo the two of those and still be in a position to where we can say we're conscious producers. It's time that we have to combine all of those into one.
Transparency in farming is knowing where your food comes from. When you come to our farm store here in the Plains, Virginia, you are right on the farm. We raise our 100% grass-fed and finished Aberdeen Angus beef right here, as well as within other parcels throughout the Plains.
It's been exciting for me since I've started here to see the development of the retail arm of Kinloch come into play, and just how strongly the community has welcomed an outward presence of Kinloch at our retail store, where people can come in, shop, interact, and have it be a place where the community can trust that they can find food that was produced with integrity and in an authentic fashion, and it's something that was made right here in their backyard. We sell our beef in a variety of ways. We sell by the cut at the farm store. You can come and buy a single steak or a pound of ground beef. We also offer bundles and half animals and whole animals. It's a great way for a family, a group of friends, a community to come together and really celebrate the whole animal and cook your way through it.
This store helps, support the community because we are, the gateway to the Plains, right off Interstate 66. We are passionate about supporting local producers. Our farm store here provides a sense of place for other makers and growers to sell their products, and a destination for consumers within the area to find our neighbors' products as well.
So the other thing that we're excited about is our apiary. Some decades ago, we started a colony of bees and ultimately had about 40 hives. We recognized that what the bees brought to the land was really the first order of business, not what we could take from them. And so we appreciate what the bees are doing here for our property and what they are able to share with us that we in turn share in the community as a Kinloch product.
In 2015, we began the conversion of around 205 acres of fescue pasture into native meadows. The intention of that being it would be 205 acres that were dedicated just to conservation. At the time, there continues to be a lack of dedicated habitat for grassland birds and mammals and white-tailed deer and beaver and turtles and a whole host of other species that need dedicated habitat. So that's sort of an island in the center of a cattle production system. We can utilize our cattle production really creatively to create habitat across the rest of the perennial landscape. Those 205 acres of meadows provide habitat and food. There's a whole lot of beautiful wildflowers for pollinators. It provides a lot of different varying structure for grassland birds and other ground nesting birds as well. We utilize prescribed fire at Kinloch as a management strategy to keep our meadows and open spaces in a young successional phase. So if we let these fields go too long without any fire, without any mowing, without any herbivores, we'll get a whole load of invasive species. If we look at a historical ecological context of this landscape, fire was used hundreds of years ago as a regular management tool to keep these landscapes open and productive and vibrant.
I am a child of Earth Day, which is recognizing first the central reality of our Earth, our planet, to our well-being and survival, and second, our responsibility to take care of Earth. Cultivating the most natural and respectful systems to support the work of Kinloch Farm was my objective. Creating a productive and useful outcome was my other goal, to share this between Kinloch Farm and my community. The conservation of landscape has been a value long held by my family. The local Bull Run Mountains were purchased and protected in the 1960s by the Currier and Mill families because of their inherent importance and for the public benefit. My siblings and I placed our Kinloch lands under protective covenants so that these natural resources of open space, air, water, and wildlife habitat would be committed to in perpetuity beyond our personal lives.
In the future, I see Kinloch as continuing to have a large presence, in, not just in the plains, but in the county. We have an opportunity to be a resource, not just a resource for how we farm, why we farm, for our conservation ethics, but a resource for people to get grass-fed and finished beef that was produced in a manner that is not common, but hopefully becomes more common in the future. I see us positioned in a way that we are engaged in interacting with local community, research organizations, local nonprofits, and then extending that out into the region. You know, there's kind of no limit on where we should be or where we could be, so the future is endless and bright for wherever we want to take it.
I am fortunate to have 3 adult children who were each born and raised on Kinloch Farm. Each contribute and together are complementary in their different personalities and professional backgrounds. They bring their own convictions and creativity to a shared commitment of land stewardship. The family property bodes well in the years ahead. I have 3 grandchildren now, which puts Kinloch Farm even further on the timeline of future stewardship.